The training on importance of psychology in teaching and learning process started with introduction of the host, the speaker, and the organization. We started by making introduction of the platform GR Tutors as an organization that is concerned with the growth of educators, and we also involve ourselves with the production of educational material as well as things that can facilitate teaching and learning process like sales of computer system, projector, and many other things. So after that, we introduce the director of GR Tutors, uh, professional educator, graphic designer, general printer, digital product coach, skills, copywriting, graphic design, content creation, experience over 9 years teaching experience. And as you can see from the screen, these qualifications are written therein, as you can see, and as well as some of the achievements of the director. Oladipo Lighton Emmanuel, the director, is a Christian by faith, the youth minister and coordinator of Impact Forum, a platform from young Christians to develop in all aspects of life. And as you can see, the Facebook page is written therein, and the email address as well as the contact number. So I'm Oladipo Lighton Emmanuel, the director of GR Tutors, an organization registered by Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria. So, as I've described myself, without wasting much time, I'm a printer, I'm an educator, environmental chemist, and I'm an online coach. I'm a chemistry teacher, both online and offline. So, and also about GR Tutors. GR Tutors is an online platform mainly concerned with training educators, both online and offline. To the glory of God, we have an audience of thousands of educators, so our activities are done online, and also we also conduct physical training as well. So you are already in a good place. You are in the midst of co-educators. So once again, I say thank you. God bless you for joining us. So after that, we introduce the speaker. The speaker, Alhaji F.A. Adewuyi, who is an author, who is a certified educator, and is the director and the CEO of AtMex, a platform and organization meant to train educators, and is into educational consultancy. So we started with introduction. People introduce themselves after we've introduced the speaker and the host. So people introduce themselves, as we can see on the screen, after which we move straight to the main training session. So he gave the outline of the training, as you can see from the screen. One, narrowing the scope of psychology to child study, the meaning of child study, methods of studying the child, importance of child psychology or study to teachers, relevant examples of classroom application of child study, emerging classroom problems that require psychological approach, case study of some emerging classroom problems to be discussed and offer solutions to by the group, question and conclusion. So the speaker started with brief explanation to these outlines as we have in these voice notes. Then we proceeded to the definition of child psychology. As you can see from the screen, it is a study of identifying stages of child development with a view to knowing its behavior and emerging problems using psychological tools in solving them.
And biological influence that the child has to pass through. That's good evening, ladies and gentlemen. With reference to the outline drawn, I'm going to pick them one by one. Like I've already indicated, we are now narrowing down child psychology or psychology to child psychology. And I'll be going straight to the second outline, which is defining child psychology. Child psychology, by definition, is an attempt at studying the child using psychological tools. Many people have erroneously believed that psychology studied or interprets minds, or that they know what goes between the mind. No. They only study behavior of human being using psychological tools. So invariably, child study is the study of how child developed in the wombs, going through stages up to when the child is born, and all those surrounding environmental influence and biological influence that the child has to pass through are studied in child psychology. So it is the way by which a child is studied, their temperament, their psychological makeup, and all their idiosyncrasies, that is character behavior, that can influence their learning and their growth, are studied in child psychology. So that is a simpler definition we can give to child psychology. Despite the pronounced definitions that are given by psychology, but the most simplest one is by way of explanation, which I have just given. It is the way we study the child, how it grows, his biological makeup, his sociological environment have influenced him in becoming what he became in later life. So that is the simplest definition of child psychology.
After which we proceeded to the methods of studying the child. Uh, he mentioned for, though he said there are other ways that which we can study the child behavior. So he mentioned four and explained.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are still on outline number 3, that is method of studying the child using psychological tools. 4 method of studying the child are discernible. Please pardon me for the arrangement. It is a typing error. The first one is playway method. The second one is observation method. The third one is retrospective method, while the fourth one is an inductor or experimental method. Although there are many methods of studying the child, but these are the most common that we are going to examine here. And I'm going to explain them one by one. Playway method is a method that is designed or to examine play. We know that children by nature like playing. And in the course of playing, they exhibit their character disposition. So as a result of this, as a teacher, we can get to know much about a child when we engage them in play. And that is why we call it dramatization method. Under this method, child display a lot of their things. Some display their woman dexterity, display their character disposition. Then some, in the course of their playing, they use their hand to create some things. So as a result of this, through play, we can get to know much about a child or children under care. So playway method is one of the methods we can use in studying the child. The second one is observation method. This observation method is categorized into two. We have direct observation and indirect observation. Observation is mere looking. Looking at a child from afar off is indirect method. That is, you stay somewhere and you see them do the activities. Through here, you can get to know their true character because they will not know that you are watching at them. So under this observation method, you tend to see a lot of their character. You tend to see more, even the classroom. Mere observation like this can tell you the kind of a child, the type of a habit, the type of the things he likes. So that is an indirect method. That is, you don't partake in the activities. You stay far off to study them. The direct method is you yourself, you partake in the activities they are doing. As they are doing that activity, you are watching them. But this one is not the most important. It's not objective enough because indirect way is objective. They won't know that you are watching them. The direct one, when you partake, they may put up different activities. They may put up different behavior. Since they are aware that you are watching them, their natural character may not be displayed here. So that is why when you are using observation method, it is better to use indirect method. That is, you won't partake in the activities they are doing, and by that method, you tend to know their true character. Then the third one is retrospective method. That is casting your mind back to the time when you were also young. When you were young, the kind of activities you normally put up can easily be transferred to the present day child. How we are too playful, how we normally do all these kind of things, tend to tell us that we can refer that to the present situation. Retrospective method is casting your mind back, a flashback onto when you were young and most of the activities that you used to put up when you were young. But this one is also not all that effective because of time frame. The civilization that has come up now. We can't compare ourselves in our home days with the children of these days. They are computer literate. They have more exposure than we have. So retrospective method might not be an objective method because of the time frame, because of changes in computer literate. They can easily know what is going on in their environment more than we do. So as a result of this, they are much more coherent. As a result of this, we may say that retrospective method is not all that appropriate method that we can use. Then the fourth one is anecdotal method. Anecdotal method is a method that is a little bit scientific. It is scientific in the sense that you have a case study of a child that you want to examine. You draw out what is called a questionnaire. You place that questionnaire on the children to respond to. From there, you can draw out your conclusion about their character. Although this one is more of research purpose, and as a result of this, it's not mostly used. It's used by researchers when people are doing, writing their maybe projects, research projects. They normally use an anecdotal method in examining studying the child. So these are the four methods analyzed here as the method of studying the child. The most appropriate and the most effective one is that dramatization, and more easy to use, although the most objective and scientifically proved is that the scientific or anecdotal method. So we'll now be going to the fourth.
After this, we proceeded to the importance of child psychology to teachers. And don't forget that this session is of two categories. The first one that we have done and the other session for the certified members. So as certified members, we get their certificate of participation, they will get ebook, they will have access to continuous mentorship as well as other resources of this training. So let's continue. Importance of child psychology to teachers. Child psychology helps teachers understand the mental, emotional, and social development stages of children. Two, it enables teachers to identify and address the root cause of children's behavior in the classroom. Three, teachers can use psychological knowledge to design age-appropriate teaching methods. Four, it assists in recognizing learning difficulties early and providing necessary reports. And this is very important for educator. You must know exactly what the learning difficulty of a child looks like and the approach to solve the issue. Five, understanding psychology promotes better teacher-student relationship. Once you know the difficulty of your learner, you know their weakness, you know their strengths, then it helps you to be in good time with your learner because you understand what is actually happening. So it's not straight to you, and you are actually working in a dimension that it solves the learner's problem. 6, it helps teachers manage classroom discipline more effectively. And the last one is, with this knowledge, teachers can foster a supportive and inclusive learning environment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are now on the fourth outline. What is the importance of child psychology to teachers? This is going to be a kind of a theoretical examination of the importance or benefits of child psychology to teachers. That is, as a teacher, what are we to derive from the study of child psychology as a course? One, it informs teachers of the stages of child development from womb to adulthood. As a result of this now, there are certain biological properties that are developed in the womb that if care is not taken or environmental influence can really mar the child and can affect his life. So as teachers, we need to know all these stages of child, stages of child development so as to know the appropriate features and how to cope with those features. So that is the reason. It informs us of the stages of the child development and how to cope. Inform us what are the expected behavior at each of the stage. Mostly as adolescents, it's most crucial. Children or adults here are very difficult to control, and mostly in the secondary school and university. But at the lower level, maybe infancy, adolescent, adolescent is a little bit more difficult. I think we have dealt with that in our previous studies, whereby we examine the futures. The most crucial period in the child development level is adolescent stage. At this stage, child has that intuition or notion that they have become adult. As a result of this, they are very difficult to control. So it is very important if teachers note the importance of child psychology is going to inform him much of the stages. Then secondly, it also equips teachers with psychological tools to solving classroom problems, as we're going to examine here. It also enables teachers to cope with emerging classroom problems and how to solve them. It enables teachers to find the root causes of the child behavior, so as to provide them with appropriate learning experience for them to assume their rightful position as future leaders. It provides solutions to emerging classroom problems. It equips teachers with psychological tools to solving classroom problems. It also brings about the continuity of learning, so that learning will not have a disruption by way of psychological problem that may disrupt or affect child learning. So we can see that psychology is very important in teaching learning process. Because without psychology, most of the classroom problems that we find might mar relearning. Because learning doesn't mean we are taking off chalk. And learning all the sides outside the educational principles alone. All of them are complementary. They work hand in hand. If you have a knowledge of teaching and you do not have a knowledge of psychology, your teaching might not be effective. So that is why they are complementary. And it's even a course in every education, even up to the psychology of education is taught. And because of that relevance, that is why it's included in the courses that are offered in the university. So anybody that's having BEd or BEd, Bachelor of Education. So we can now see that child psychology is very important to teachers, as it is a tool that the teacher use effectively in teaching learning process.
And after this training, people applaud the speaker, and I ask brief question about the training. uh, I ask questions from the content of what we've learned that particular night, and people turn up with their response. These are the 4 questions. Define child psychology. How does the knowledge of psychology benefit you as an educator? And wait to benefits of studying a child psychologically. What's the name of a speaker tonight? Then I want to appreciate this person. He gave the summary of everything we did this particular night. Then, after that, we gave room for questions and answer. And don't forget, the other time I said the training is of 2 categories: the general one that we held here, and also that of the certified members group. So on certified members group now, you will have access to continuous training. Then also you will have access to real life psychological issues that we can solve, issues in classroom that can be solved psychologically with the knowledge of psychology. So on this group, participants will raise issues, and as a team we are going to discuss the solution. That is one. Then number two, you have continuous access. You have continuous access to our special mentorship group. And not only this, you are going to get an ebook on psychology, and the ebook worth 5,000 naira. Not only this, you are going to get discounted certificate of participation. Then also, even the certificate of its on its own, it has a lot of benefit. So if you are interested in the certificate of participation as well as the offer attached to it, please send me a direct message. Thank you. God bless you.